Time for another board game review, and this time we have the game The Fox in the Forest. This was sent to me by Renegade Game Studios, and it's designed by Joshua Buergo. Play cards to win tricks against your opponent, use the special abilities on the character cards to change the trump suit, lead even after losing a trick, and more. Score points for winning tricks, but if you get greedy and win too many, you will fall like the villain in many fairy tales. Let me show you how to play. So The Fox in the Forest is a trick-taking game for 2 players where you're each playing cards to win tricks against the other over multiple rounds. Players score points during a round by winning tricks containing specific cards, and at the end of a round based on the number of total tricks they won. The player with the most points at the end of the game is the winner. Now at the start of the game, you each get a hand of 13 cards, and then there's a draw pile of 7 cards in the middle. Each round consists of a series of 13 turns for each player called tricks. Every trick, both players will play a card from their hand face up into the middle. One player will lead, that is, play the first card of the trick, and the other player will follow, which is playing the second card. Based on the 2 cards that are played, one player will be said to win the trick. So let's say player 1 leads with the 8 of keys. The leader can always choose any card from their hand to play without restriction, and the suit of that card is known as the lead suit. After a player leads, the other player must follow and play a card that matches the suit if they have a card that matches it. So, player 2 could follow with a 4. In this case, player 1 would win the trick, because it has a higher rank. If player 2 didn't have any keys, then they can play any suit. Now, if you haven't played a trick-taking game before, here's how you determine a trick winner. Usually it's pretty simple if they're both the same suit. In this case, higher number wins the trick. Very simple. However, in this game, there is a decree card. Now, at the beginning of the round, you play a card face up from the deck. And here it is the one of, the fuck is this? Bells. One of bells. In this case, it's the one of bells. This suit determines the trump suit. And any card that's a suit of the trump suit is considered higher than the lead suit. So, if this is the trump suit and the first player plays an 8 of keys, let's say the second player doesn't have any key suit cards in their hand, and they play a trump card. Even though this is a lower number than this key card, this card wins because trump always beats any other suit. If 2 trump cards are played, then it's the higher rank, or higher number, which is simple. Now, if the other player played a card that wasn't a trump or wasn't keys, let's say they play the 10 of moons, okay? Even though this has a higher number, it loses because the leading suit was keys. So in order to beat the leading suit, you got to match the suit. Otherwise, higher number of the leading suit always wins. The winner of the trick takes the 2 cards and places them face down in front of them as a trick taken. The number of tricks won by each player is public information because it's very important to know. Once you've played 13 tricks, then you go to scoring. Now, the cards have different abilities on them. I'm going to get into that later, but let's go to the scoring for now. Now, unlike most trick-taking games, in this game, it's not necessarily a good thing to take too many tricks, because this scoring reference here will show you. If you, at the end, have won 0 to 3 tricks, you score 6 points at the end. 4 tricks is 1, 5 is 2, 6 is 3. 7 to 9 tricks, you get 6 points, but if you win too many tricks, 10 to 13 tricks, you get nothing. So you can either try to score very low, or not very high, but medium high. That's the trick of this game. Also, after each trick, the winner receives 1 point for each 7 or treasure card in the trick. I'll explain that later. But yeah, you score points that way. Otherwise, you just play rounds until either player has at least 21 points. Whoever has the most points wins. If there's a tie, whoever won the most points during the last round wins. Now, scoring system aside, there's also some interesting abilities which I'm going to go over. By the way, there are only 3 suits in this game. Moons, keys, and bells. The 1 cards are always, if you play this and lose the trick, you lead the next trick. Because usually when you win a trick, you get to lead the next one. Not so if you play this card. 3s, when you play this card, you may exchange the decree card with a card from your hand. So this lets you change what the trump card is for the round by taking it into your hand and replacing it with one from your hand. 5s, when you play this card, draw a card from the draw pile, then discard 1 card from to the bottom of the deck. When you play a 7, The winner of the trick receives 1 point for each 7 in the trick. These are valuable. 9s. When determining the winner of a trick with only 1 9, treat the 9 as if it were in the trump suit. So this can automatically become a trump if there's only 1 9 in play. And then 11, the highest card. When you lead this, if your opponent has a moon, they must play either the 1 of moons or their highest moon, which forces them to play a specific suit. And all the different suits have the same abilities on their respective numbers. Otherwise, that's pretty much it. It's a trick-taking game where you don't want to get too many, or you want to get a little with powers on the cards. And that's it. So, trick-taking games where you have to take a specific number of tricks are always fun, and the Fox in the Forest is no exception. Whenever you're going for numbers of tricks instead of just pure dominance of just I win the most tricks, someone is inevitably going to get frustrated. And that's the fun of it, because if you take this many tricks, you force the other player to take a number of tricks that they don't want. This game has a clever scoring system where you can go for either a low number of tricks or a decently high number of tricks. Either requires a good level of skill, and both lend themselves well to making the other player going, God damn it, if they slip above their target range, which is always great in a game. The powers on the cards are clever, and they absolutely help you plan out your strategy. I also appreciate that the game is still simple. Even though there are powers on the cards, the game is still simple, and the base game does not wear out its welcome. After one game, you play enough to feel satisfied, but the game also can let you just change the number of points required to suit your game length needs. You want to play further than 21? Go to 28. You know, it's totally flexible in how you want to play it. Now, considering how many times I'm asked for good 2-player games, I gotta say, this one is very solid. I love trick-taking games personally, so I took to this one very quickly. It's easy to learn, it plays fast, offers a good level of strategy while still being very accessible. The art is beautiful as well, so definitely a very, very fun 2-player game. I recommend it.